Hi class, Coach Nash here, and we are ready to begin our first self-assessment. So just a reminder, there's two of these assessments, one now and then one at the end of the semester. It's a short semester, it's 8 weeks. We work out 4 times a week, or 4 sessions per week. And this assessment, as well as the last assessment, are really just a gauge to see where you are when you start and how much improvement you've made when you finish, okay? So if you're not taking this class again, as a 1 or a 2 second time that you've taken this is all new to you. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully take you through each exercise that we are going to assess. You will need to have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen just to write down your results so that you can transfer that information to the actual form that you will turn in or submit to me for your points, okay? So just following this video along, this is just to demonstrate everything that's on the form. You do not need to submit anything or click anything when you're done with this. You're just done with this. However, after, you're going to go ahead and put your results on the form on all of the number 1s. So sometimes that gets confusing because there's a 1 and a 2 column, and that just represents the first time that you do this and the second time. So we're doing all the 1s the first time, okay? I'm going to go ahead and begin. So again, for those of you, this is first time with Mat Pilates, you're learning everything for the first time, so just take it slowly and make sure that you're listening to my cues and watching my demonstrations, okay? The other thing about the video, so because this is the first time that you'll have watched a video, you want to make sure that you're only pausing if you need to and then starting with a click of the play, okay? Try not to stop the video and walk away and then try to come back and replay it, because there's some kind of glitch in the system that it doesn't show the full viewing time. So I am seeing the amount of viewing time that you are watching and practicing. So just make sure that you're not ever really stopping the video during and restarting, only pausing if you need to, okay? All right. So breath duration is the first. So when we breathe in here, and I'll go over this in our next session, which will be right after this, whenever you do it, you're going to learn how to efficiently breathe while practicing all of these exercises during these sessions, okay? So today we're just going to time 1 breath just to put something down on paper, okay, and where we're starting. And so efficiently meaning how deeply can we inhale and how far and long can we take our exhale. And that's it. It's just 1 breath. We're not holding our breath. We're just breathing, and we're going to time the 1 breath. So you will need something to time it with, right? So your phone or a clock, or you could even count in your head. Okay, so when we breathe, I would like you to try and breathe through your nose. However, if you need to breathe through your mouth, that's fine. But inhaling through your nose and then out through your nose, but you can also exhale out through your mouth if you want. So I want you to go ahead and practice just slowing everything down with your breathing. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to slowly control the pace, right? Slowly inhale as deeply as you can, filling up those lungs. And then you're going to transition slowly into that exhale by pushing that breath out as slowly as you can, as long as you can, until you have to inhale again, okay? So I like to sit up tall, just, sitting however comfortable you want, in position you want. And just practicing this, sitting up tall with your rib cage expanded, right? Up tall, nice strong posture, and then just breathing. So when you're ready, I want you to make sure you start your clock or start your counting as soon as you start to inhale. You'll start to inhale, start your clock. You'll inhale, exhale, and you'll stop your clock when you're done exhaling, okay? you're going to write that number as your result for breath duration for the number 1 result, okay? So go ahead and do that, and then you can pause the video and then come back to the video and we'll go into the next one. All right, so you got a number, right? How many seconds for your breath. We're going to go ahead and go into what's called our 100 exercise. In our 100 exercise, we practice this every session. And what it is a warm-up exercise coordinating our breathing and some movement of our arms, as well as some scooping, which you will learn today, okay? We'll go over this in our next session as well. But when we are on our backs and we are connected to the mat with our backs, we're going to do what's called scooping. And what that simply means is we are engaging our abdominal muscles and we're pressing that lower back down into the mat. So we want to deeply connect with the floor below us, okay? So hopefully you have a mat. If you don't and you're just on a rug, that's fine. But you want to be on a hard surface with the mat. So we don't want to be on any cushions or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. You will need a mat or at least something that will, absorb the shock of when we're moving around on our mat. So, make sure it's not slipping on the floor, and we're going to go ahead and practice the 100. Now, what I want to show you is the movement with the arms is what's called a pumping. And so if you extend your arms out alongside your body and your palms are facing down, you're going to pump up and down, which means you're just directing your arms up and down. And it's not a very big movement. It's probably 12 inches, right? And we're creating resistance with the pumping. That just simply means that our shoulders are engaged, our arms are engaged, and we're creating resistance with this pumping. Now, the pumping is 1 pump per 5. So we have to do 5 pumps for an inhale and 5 pumps for your exhale, which will be 10 total pumps per 1 breath. I know that sounds like a lot of math or numbers or confusing. But basically, you're going to be pumping 10 times, okay, for 1 breath. So I like to synchronize or coordinate the pumping of the 5 for your inhale, pumping of the 5 for the exhale. Now, it's called the 100, which means we would breathe 10 breaths, right? So that's 100 pumps. So today, we're going to see how well we can practice the 100 without compromising form or breaking form. Now, the breaking of the form simply means that our head comes down to the mat, or our legs come down to the mat, or we just completely tap out and we stop moving, okay? So we are going to raise our legs and we're going to raise our head. When we raise our head up off of the floor, we want to make sure that we're rounding our neck. And so we're going to drop our chin to our chest so that we have a nice rounded neck. And our shoulder blades are going to be up off of the mat. And so this creates this scooping, which means we will be engaging our abdominals, right, and pressing our lower back down into the mat and holding that position while we're breathing and pumping. So if my head comes back, I'm going to stop the exercise, okay? If my legs start to drop, I'm going to stop the exercise. Or I'm just done and I'm going to stop my exercise. So I need to know when I've stopped. So I need to keep count, okay? So this is an sample. I'm going to start and I'm in my position, right? And I'm pumping and I get through to maybe this is my 5th or 50th pump or my 5th breath, right? And then my head starts to come back and then I stop. And I haven't completed 6 total, so I'm going to write down 5 or 50. So 50 out of 100. So I'm going to write 50 on my result for the first one. If I'm pumping along and I get to 70 and then I get close to 8, right, or 80 pumps, and I stop because my legs come down, I'm just going to put 80. I'm as close to 80 as I can get. I'm going to put 80, okay? If I get all the way to 100 pumps or 10 total breaths, I'm stopping, because that's why it's called the 100, and I'm going to write 100 as my result, okay? So that's the gist, the general gist of this exercise. So let me demonstrate the position. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to roll down, so I'm just kind of rolling my back down slowly, practicing that scooping. And from here, I'm going to lift my head and shoulders. Scooping occurs, chin to chest. And my legs are going to be extended nice and low on a hold here. And I'm going to go ahead and begin my pumps. So notice my form. I don't break form. My legs are not up here and they're not on the floor. They're just right above my hips. Chin to chest, and I'm counting 5 for inhale, 5 for exhale, and then I'm going to just keep count of how many total breaths I breathe until I am done. And when I'm done, I bring my head and my feet down. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video. You're going to practice your 100 exercise. You're going to track how many you practice or complete, right? And then you're going to write your result down on your piece of paper, and then come on back and we'll go to the next one. All right, you guys, so you just completed your 100 exercise. I'm sure you're warm and ready to go, right? So a little bit of fatigue there in your abdominal region, which is good, right? We're going to move on to our Fab 5 workout. And so I'm going to demonstrate each of the 5 exercises, okay? And then I'm going to actually do this with you. But I want you to go ahead and watch me. I'm going to demonstrate all 5. And if you want to practice, you can during the time I'm demonstrating, but don't practice too much because you have to put them all together into an actual Fab 5 workout, okay? So again, this is the first time that we're practicing this. I'm not teaching a lot here. I'm just cueing you and then showing you, and then you're gonna go for it, okay? We're gonna go for it together. Okay, so there's a single leg exercise, there's a double leg exercise, and in the middle of the 5, there's what's called crisscross. The 4th exercise is a single straight, and the 5th exercise is a double straight. So the first 2 are similar, and the last 2 are similar, and the most, different is the crisscross in the middle. So single leg, double leg, crisscross, single straight leg, double straight at the end, okay? So again, when our head is up off of the mat, our chin is to our chest, our shoulders are up off the mat, we are scooping. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bring my knees in. 90 degrees, knees are above my hips. And from here, I'm going to pull one knee in as I extend the other leg out away from me. Keeping this knee in alignment with my left or my right shoulder, I'm just gently pulling, and I do not touch down with this horizontal leg. So I pull with my left, I exchange, and I pull with my right, and that is 1. Pull left, pull right, that's 2. Pull left, pull right, that's 3, okay? So because there's a left and a right, you need to pull each one for it to be 1. So we would do that 5 times. That's single leg. So my one leg is moving and working, okay? Double leg, of course, both legs are moving. So I'm going to start with my head and shoulders up off the mat. I'm scooping. Both knees are bent again. I'm going to pull both knees in with my hands over the top. Now when I extend my legs, I'm going to reach back with my arms. Do not touch down with the feet or hands. I'm going to sweep my arms around as I pull my knees in and gather. That's 1. And breathing through the move, so exhaling big and inhaling deep. Okay, so that's double leg. So both legs are moving. A little bit about the breathing. I like to exhale on the work. the more challenging work. So if I'm extending my legs, I feel that is the most challenging. So I'm going to exhale on that move, okay? So single leg, one leg, double leg, both legs. Third exercise is crisscross, and it's the most different. However, the legs are doing the same work as single leg. So watch me. Knees are in again. My legs are going to single leg, okay? But my hands are behind my neck. And I'm going to keep my shoulders up off of the mat. And I'm going to rotate across my rib cage so that I connect my knee to my opposite elbow. Keeping my hips grounded down on the mat. I'm just rotating across my rib cage, keeping my shoulders elevated. My head does not drop back. And right knee in and left knee in is 1. Right knee in and left knee in is 2. And I'll do 5 of those, okay? So just consistent breathing throughout the crisscross is what you want to accomplish. So we have single leg, right? Single, double, crisscross, and then we're gonna go single straight and double straight, okay? So single straight, legs are all the way up, head and shoulders are up off the mat, scooping, connecting. Single straight, you can imagine, we're just going to pull on one leg and extend the other leg. So left leg in, right leg in, that's 1. Left leg in, right leg in, that's 2. And we'll go to 5, okay? So single straight. So then we're gonna go into double straight, and that's the final exercise of the Fab 5. Both legs will pull down to the mat, just shy of the mat, not connecting. And then both legs will pull up. We're gonna have our hands behind our neck. So starting with the legs up, we're going to lower and lift. So I like to exhale as I lower my legs and inhale as I lift. And I have 5 of those, okay? So hopefully you've practiced a little bit as I've gone through the demonstrations. We're gonna go ahead and go through it together. I'm gonna do 5 repetitions of all 5 exercises, and that's what we are all attempting the same thing the first time, okay? The same amount. So all of you will be practicing 5 repetitions of the Fab 5. Okay. When you stop, so I do 5 single leg, 5 double leg, and then I get to 5 crisscross, and I do not start 5 single straight. That means that I did 3 exercises at 5 repetitions. I'm going to write 3 as my result, okay? It's what you've accomplished or completed. If I go single leg, double leg, crisscross, and I get single straight, but I do not finish double straight, I start it, but I don't finish it, I've done 4 out of the 5, okay, at 5 repetitions. If I get all the way to double straight and I finish double straight, I'm done and I put 5. So the max you can do for the Fab 5 is 5, okay? The least you can do is hopefully 1. If you're not able to do 5 repetitions of the first exercise, we may have to have a conversation, okay? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start together. And then when you stop, if you stop, before I stop, just make sure you keep track of where you stopped and how many you need to put down, okay? All right, here we go. Let's get in your position. And we're gonna start with single leg. Here we go, single leg, in 1, in 2, in 3, in 4, in 5. Double leg, both knees in, reach out, sweep around. 1, out and in. 2, out and in. 3, out and in. 4, out, and in. 5. No break, crisscross. Here we go. 1, you don't get to stop and start again. In, that's 1. In, that's 2. In, that's 3. In, that's 4. In, that's 5. Single straight. Keep your head up, up. That's 1. Up, up, that's 2. Up, up, that's 3. Up, up, that's 4. And up, up, that's 5. Up all the way to the top, double straight, hands behind your neck. Down, up, that's 1. Down, up, that's 2. Down, up, that's 3. Down, up, that's 4. And down, and up, that's 5. All right, so if you completed it with me without stopping, you're going to write down 5. So go ahead and pause the video, write down your results, and then come on back. All right, you guys, so you just completed your Fab 5. We're going to move on to what's called the roll-up. Now, the roll-up is very challenging, and we're actually going to assess a traditional roll-up. We will start the semester in a modified roll-up, okay? And trying to just make improvements and eventually get to this traditional roll-up. So if you're not able to complete a roll-up, do not be frustrated, discouraged. It will eventually happen, or you will make some improvements, okay? But of course, this is the first time that we've done this, so there's a lot going on here. Now, the roll-up, we are basically doing a sit-up with our legs extended and our arms behind our head on our backs. But the roll-up, the difference between the roll-up and the sit-up is that we are using our core muscles. So our hips, our glutes, our lower abs, our upper abs, our obliques, our lower and middle back. I mean, we're really using our core muscles, all of them, to pull ourselves up in a scooped position. So a lot of times when you do a sit-up, you use your back, okay? Not necessarily your abdominal wall or your strength there to pull yourself up. And you also use momentum in sit-ups when you're testing. So we are slowing it down, and that's where people have the most challenging or most problem, right? Is because we're really slowing it down. So we're just going to see if we can do one roll-up. That's it. If you can do one roll-up, and that's all you're doing, and you're going to write one roll-up, okay? 1 under the 1. If you cannot do one roll-up, you're going to make sure you keep track of where you get stuck, and you're going to write that down as your result. So some of you, you'll get stuck at upper back off of the mat or shoulders off of the mat. That's pretty much it, right? Upper back, so your middle of your back is still connected, but your upper back is up, meaning you could not get all the way up. So that's what your result will be for the first one. Anyway, other than that, I don't want you doing multiple, I just want you trying one roll-up. So let me demonstrate. We're on our backs. Now, without going into too much teaching, essentially what's going to happen is my arms are outstretched behind my head. I'm going to sweep my arms over the top, and as soon as I see my hands or my arms up above me, I'm going to start bringing my head up, my chin to my chest, my shoulder blades up, and from here, when I start to bring my back up off the floor, I'm going to scoop, meaning I'm engaging those muscles, pressing that low back down into the mat, and I'm going to engage my glutes and my hips to pull myself up. Now, if I can get up, I want to stay scooped, so stay rounded in my back and come all the way up over my legs. And from here, I'm going to stay scooped and rounded and connect my lower back to the mat first, my middle back, and my upper back. So watch me. Real time, full roll up. I sweep slowly. I scoop.
I engage and pull up. I come over the top. That's how slow I want you to go. And then I return, coming down. Okay, so some of you, this is what will happen. You'll sweep your arms over, you'll lift up, and you'll get stuck right about here. And so just take notice of where you're stuck, where you feel your back, okay, getting stuck, and you'll write that result. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and put your roll up down on your paper and then come back to me. All right, you guys, so you just practiced your roll up. So we're gonna go into what's called push-up leg pull down. So you'll notice that there's a modified and a traditional. You're gonna circle modified if you're doing your push-ups with your knees on the mat. You're gonna circle traditional if you know you can do a push-up with your knees off of the mat, which is a traditional push-up. So that's the first thing you'll do. Modified or traditional, you'll circle, okay? So the push-up in modified is just a traditional push-up, right, with our knees down. But you're going to go into what's called a pull down. And so watch me. When I do my push-up, I want my hands right outside my shoulders and right above my chest here. My knees are down and my hips are down. From here, I'm going to engage my core. So I'm going to be nice and strong, and I'm going to bend my elbows, pulling my hips down with me. Push up. I'm going to come up into high plank, knees off the ground, and then I'm going to lift one leg and transfer my weight down into my heel with my leg back, come back into high plank, switch legs, pull back into the heel, transferring that weight, high plank, knees down, that's one. And then continue, okay? Traditional is knees off the ground, push up, pull down, that's one. And then continuous until you stop. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video, practice your push-up leg pull down, write your number down, and come on back. All right, so you've done your push-up leg pull down. We're gonna go into what's called spine stretch. So the spine stretch, we are assessing our flexibility in our hamstrings, our glutes, and our lower back, okay? So we're gonna practice together. Go ahead and position your legs in what's called a V position. So open. And my heels are gonna be right outside the width of my mat, or right outside my hips if I don't have a mat, okay? So for the spine stretch, it's really important that we maintain strong posture, which simply means that I'm tall, okay? My back is not hunched, right? Or collapsed. So I'm sitting up tall, pushing my rib cage forward, and I'm going to extend my arms up, and I'm going to pitch forward with my flat back, reaching as far as I can and going down as far as I can. From here, I'm going to scoop and round my back and pull my arms in and lift my trunk up to tall. So it's flat back, rounded back, up tall. Flat back, down, rounded back, in, up top. Flat back, rounded back. So we're trying to see how far we can go with each move forward. Okay? So go ahead and do a few more of those. The assessment, the test is, where do my hands fall? Okay, so watch me. I'm not going to come back and up. I'm just going over, okay? So I'm going to pitch forward as far as I can and then drop my hands to the mat. And from here, I'm going to gauge where my hands drop. So my wrists are at my heels. So I'm going to write wrists at heels for my number one result.
Some of you might go way past, right? And maybe your elbows are at your heels. That'd be really good. But a lot of you are probably just about here. And this is as far as you're going when you drop your arms, okay? And maybe your fingertips are at your ankles, or your fingertips are maybe at mid-shin, okay? Or at your heels. So you're just going to write down a little information about where your hands drop in the spine stretch, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, do your spine stretch, put down your result, and come on back. All right, you guys, so you just did spine stretch. We're gonna go into Superman pulls. And Superman pulls, we are going to go onto our tummies and we are assessing our back strength. So it's an elevated, I think you all know what a Superman position is, and I'll show you, I'll demonstrate what the pull is for the Superman. But we are seeing how many times we can lift and pull until we stop. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're not going too many and that, you know, it's really straining on your body. But we also want to leave some room for improvement. Okay, so, you know, you're not competing against anybody but yourself. And so just make sure that, you know, you keep count, first of all, and then you stop when you still feel like you can walk away. Okay, so let me demonstrate. We're going to go ahead and turn over under our tummies. Arms are outstretched. Now, when I lift my arms and my legs, I'm pressing my pelvis down into the mat. And I'm just going to lift my arms and my legs just enough that they're elevated. Knees are off the ground. From here, I'm going to pull my elbows back towards the side of my trunk and squeeze my shoulder blades together. My legs are still lifted. I'm going to extend my arms out in front and then lower my arms and my legs, okay? So I'm going to keep count. So this is what it looks like. I lift up, pull back, extend, and drop. That's one. Up, back, out, and down. That's two. And then I'm going to go, keeping count, until I feel like I get a nice number, or that's as much as I can do. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, do your Superman pulls, write down your number, and come on back. All right, so you just completed Superman pulls, and now the section of your assessment is about your personal goals. So what you want to try and do is write down just a few goals that you would like to work on accomplishing by the end of this 8-week semester, okay? Considering that you're going to give 4 days of your time for 8 weeks, 4 days a week for 8 weeks, about an hour each session, writing down, considering all of that work, what you would like to see improvements made. So maybe some of the results on your assessment form, you know, that's important for you. So maybe you realistically think that you can improve your breathing 10 more seconds. So that would be one goal, if that's important to you, right? So you're just going to assess what's important to you right now to accomplish by the end of the 8 weeks. Obviously, it's personal, so you write down whatever you want. Just make sure they're realistic, considering the time that you're committing to the class, and that they're achievable, right? And something that's not too far-fetched. You know, maybe just one roll-up by the end of the semester is something that you'd like to accomplish. Maybe strength. Maybe you're practicing mat Pilates this semester for a very specific reason. Maybe it has to do with therapy. Maybe it has to do more with a holistic approach, more of a spiritual approach to the class, or maybe just strictly physical. So it's really up to you what you want to write down, but you want to make sure that we can actually address this in 8 weeks. So you want something that you can actually see and rate or rank, okay, or evaluate progress. So it's really important that you be very specific about what you want, okay? So go ahead and write down those goals that you have for yourself, and then we are done. And so then you're just going to make sure that you put all of your numbers, all of your results on your fitness form, okay, your self-assessment form. And then what you're going to do is you're going to save that form, and then you're going to actually submit it back to me so that I can see the picture, and then I can give you your points for fulfilling that, okay? Remember, there's a deadline, and so this needs to be done by Sunday, by 11:55 on Sunday evening. That along with the next 2 sessions. So we have this assessment, which is Tuesday, and then we have a session for Wednesday and another session for Thursday. And then you're going to have a weekly connection, and that's something else that you need to submit a response to. Other than that, you do not submit anything when you're watching and practicing the 2 sessions this week. Just like with the assessment, you're just watching it. You are not submitting anything back to me. I am able to see your viewing time on the canvas, and so just make sure that you're watching the videos inside of the Canvas program, okay? And so make sure that you're not downloading it and watching it. I do not see viewing time if you download it, okay? You're making sure you're just watching it within Canvas. So it's that Studio app that I upload it to. The other thing is that you do these sessions whenever you find it in your week to do it, okay? They're going to be unlocked and available to view Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of every week, except for this week, at 5 o'clock in the morning. But you find the time to do all of the sessions whenever you can prior to Sunday at 11:55, okay? And hopefully that makes sense. I'll keep repeating that in future sessions. But that's it for today. So I will see you next time. Good job.